Hey, you're still here. All right, let's do another one. Let's talk about deviance and social reaction. So, some things are legal and other things are not. Class dismissed. I'm just kidding. Why are some things legal and other things illegal? Because we label them that way. Some things are criminal because we call them criminal, not because they're any better or worse than other things. And this section within the chapter and in the slides is kind of exploring that a little bit. If we wanted the crime rate to be zero tomorrow, we could just go full purge. We can say everything's legal and you can do whatever you wanted, and then there's no crime. So, technically speaking, we create crime by labeling things criminal. The best example that I can think of this is marijuana and alcohol, or marijuana and cigarette smoking. Medically speaking, both the consumption of alcohol and the consumption of cigarettes is worse for you than smoking weed. But one of those things has historically been illegal in our country, and the others have historically been legal, except for that brief blip of prohibition with alcohol. There's a really, really good video that is embedded in the chapter or in the slides, and I will find that and pull that out and attach it in this little post as well. That I think describes kind of how tricky it can be to wrap your minds around why some things are legal and other things are illegal when you actually try and take a step back and look at those things. But in the slides, it says what this allows us to do, and in the book, it says this as well, is it allows a lot of people to just kind of step back and not have to make the tough decisions themselves. They can just rely on society to help them make those decisions because society says one thing is okay and the other thing's not. And so you just go down the path of least resistance. And I can share a personal example of this, hopefully to illustrate this point. A few years ago, my sister and I, who both have um, our oldest kids are about the same age. Her oldest is a girl. Was born 2 weeks before my oldest, who's a boy. And right after our first kids were born, I remember us having a conversation about what we kind of hoped for our kids. And one of the things that we were talking about was whether they would, struggle with any sort of vices in their life. Was there something that they were going to stumble upon that would cause them, would be an addiction or something that they would struggle with? And I remember kind of saying offhand, man, I hope my son doesn't have any of those problems, but if he does, I would prefer him to smoke weed than I would for him to be like an alcoholic. And my sister just said, well, how could you say that? Because, weed's illegal. He could go to jail. And I thought to myself, well, I guess he could go to jail if he got caught with weed, but he's not going to die because of liver failure, or he's not going to, have a lot of those other health problems that can come from drinking alcohol. It's just easier oftentimes for us to say, this is legal, that's illegal, so this is what I'll do, not that. And oftentimes, when we call things legal and illegal, we're creating lanes within which people can fall and then pursue their desires or behaviors. And again, it's because we have decided as a society this is right, that's illegal. And that doesn't always make sense. And that's kind of what this section of the book and the slideshow is talking about.